Don't laugh at that sign. I walk in and see that, and I'm just like, what the hell, dude?
Yeah, maybe I'll turn that around. Yeah, the light, I had it all set up perfectly in here, and then I'm all of a sudden, because of course the sun's going down, it just hit that right spot where it's like, and now I can't see anything because the whole board is just bright. So,
Oh, that sucks.
Yeah. Alright, so we are
live from Kamloops, BC.
Yes. Alright.
Oh, come on, I gotta do it. Hopefully everybody's done their camping and can start to come out now, eh?
Yeah, it'll be nice to get people more into a more regular schedule again.
Because is Dawn going to come out anymore? Or?
I don't know. I think we have to go to him.
Okay.
If that will work, so we'll see. All right, so I think it is all working okay there.
So we can start now.
All right. Good evening, guys. DeathClock Dave here, and welcome to another Wednesday night live stream. So this evening we're doing something a little bit different. We are playing some awesome Riot Quest, so giving that a try with a demo or two here. So Riot Quest just came out in the last, I believe it was the last couple of weeks was the official release date. And the good folks at Privateer Press have also sent me a glorious neoprene mat. So this mat has not been released yet. I can't remember. I think it's sometime in the next couple of months that it releases. But this mat is really, really nice. The colors are really nice. And of course, it's going to be more durable than the paper mat that comes in the starter kit. So, so Privateer Press sent me 2 starter kits and the mat to get started. So a single starter kit gets you going with everything you need to start. So you get 5 character models to start. You get their related cards, the Riot Gear, dice, and for anyone who are Montauk fans, you will recognize the dice. These are Montauk dice, with the exception of the D6, of course. So you get everything that you need to get started. You get the map, you get the all the related tokens and the cards, full rulebook. The rulebook is also available as a free PDF, which is awesome. And yeah, it's a pretty neat game. It's going to be a fun kind of board game, party game type deal. It changes up a lot when you add more players. So if you guys haven't, go check out the staff showdown for Privateer Press. They have some 4-player games in there, and it's nuts when you've got that many models on the board and people are stealing bounties and kill stealing and everything. When it's 1v1, there's no kill stealing going on, which makes things a little more static that way. But I'm going to do my best to show you guys the cards as when we get started here. I know there's some folks online that have not seen the full cards yet and had asked specifically to see some of those cards, so I'm going to do my best to have those on the dice cam so you guys can have a close look, and then we'll probably set the dice cam just for the dice rolls later on. So we will be reading out the bounties and the treasure chests that come up as they come. So it's myself, Dave Avery playing, and Matt LeClaire has joined me. Matt has not played before. I explained a couple of quick things to him, but we're going to go through this as if everything is new so that you guys can learn along with us. Be sure to hit us up in the chat if you have any questions about anything or if perhaps you've played something incorrectly. So I've done a couple of games just with my kids so far, so it's kid friendly. It's easy to learn once you've got the base rules down, but I'm sure mistakes will be made. So along with that, I'll just do a quick plug since we're right around the corner from it. So we have Attack X coming up the weekend of September 13th, 14th, and 15th here in Kamloops, British Columbia. It's an awesome 3-day con, so it's got everything from War Machine and Hordes, full tournaments. We're going to be running a Montauk event on Sunday. It's got 40K, basically every tabletop game system you can think of, whether it's a full-blown event or demos and kind of fun type stuff. They've got rooms all over with people doing various RPG things. So there's something for everybody. It's a really awesome con. Great if you're in BC or even kind of the Seattle type area. It's not that far to get here. Kamloops is beautiful this time of year. We're kind of in a desert area, so the summer transition into fall is quite nice. It's pretty affordable to stay here as well. When it doesn't rain all summer, it's quite nice. That's quite rare.
We'll have crazy thunderstorms.
Yeah, that was pretty entertaining yesterday. That was pretty nuts. So yeah, Kamloops is beautiful. It's an awesome con. come check it out. Say hi if you guys stop by there. And we'll be having lots of material from there. So Friday I'll be streaming, I believe, the War Machine Champions tournament all day, and I believe Saturday and Sunday, for the first time ever, I'm actually going to be streaming and recording Warhammer 40K. There's quite a huge number of people coming out for that apparently. They sold out pretty quick, and I guess there's some pretty big names coming. So the event organizer asked if I can stream that, so that will be on stream as well for everybody. So we will go ahead and get started here. So Riot Quest takes place after the Infernals have invaded the world of Immoren, and basically everything is in chaotic ruin. So all the factions have fallen apart, everything's been destroyed, there's just a bunch of characters left over, and they've realized they have to kind of band together with random other dudes so they don't get picked off themselves, and they have to get as much loot and gear as possible so that they can get as much more loot and gear as possible without also dying. So Riot Quest is a pretty fast-paced, kind of party-type game, very board gamey. It does use models that also work in War Machine and Hordes, which is great. So these models will all have War Machine and Hordes rules so that you can play them there. So there's extra value there. Right now there are 5 characters that come in the starter set. There is one more that has already been released called James, which I believe stands for Jacobson's Amazing Iron Maiden something. I can't remember what the S stands for, but basically she's a clockwork ninja killy lady that is basically, she's a convergence type model, 40mm base, which is pretty sweet. And then at Gen Con they released a whole lot of other characters as well. I believe there are a total of 11 out right now, so lots of other cool characters. Sadly I did not get to Gen Con, so I just have the base characters right now, and that's what we'll be playing with today. So the base economy in Riot Quest is action dice. So everything that you do in the game, you have 5 different actions that you can do, and they all cost an action dice. So the base actions are run, so you can spend an action dice to move up to your speed. Attack, which is a melee or ranged attack. Even if you have both types of weapons, you can only ever do one attack in a turn, unless you have a special rule that states otherwise. You can raid, which is basically looting a treasure chest if you're adjacent to it. Rig, which is to interact with bounties. So there's going to be different bounties or objectives that pop up around the board randomly, and you'll be looting those to get victory points and extra loot. So the goal of the game is to win 7 victory points, which will win you the game. And then finally, there is the special action, which is if you have a character that has something special or very specific that they can do, or if you have Riot Gear that gives a special action, you can spend dice to do that. So go ahead and we'll just have a quick look at the cards themselves so that you guys can get an idea of what they look like. So just bear with me. I'm going to try and make these as readable as possible for you guys. My dice cam back up here. And all right, so we're going to go through the different characters to start out with. Oh, OCD is a thing, must be straight. All right, and Mark, can you just hand me your desk card there? I'm just going to read it off. So,
Mark? Who's that?
Your Matt, Mr. LeClaire. It's been a long week.
Oh, I'm just having fun bugging you at this point with it. Come on.
So, first of all, we have Des, and maybe I don't know if this will work too, but I can put her model up in there too. That would be pretty glorious for production value, but probably not going to be able to fit too well. So, she's got a giant bazooka. It's a little hard to fit both of them in there at the same time, but there you can see Des. All right, so, and I apologize, these aren't painted. These came in the midst of my vacation, and then we've had some family crises just come up, which has made things a little nutty. So right now I have, you can see I've got like a coppery color on the rim of the base, just to make it easy to tell who's on which team. So we will have those painted later on, and I really like what Privateer Press did on their stream, where they took bases of the next step up. So if it's a 30mm base, you take a medium base, which is a 40mm. You color that base just blue or red or whatever, and then you just sticky tack on the model on top, and then you can see the colored outline on the outside of the base. And that way, if you have like a pool of miniatures to play, people can draft them back and forth, and then just sticky tack them to your colored base, and you can really easily see who's on what team. So we'll start with Des. So Des is a gunner. You can see at the top left, she's kind of got that it's like a crosshairs thing here. I'll maybe give this to you so you can look at that, and I'll read it off the screen, so that'll be a little easier so you can follow along as well. So Des is a gunner. Gunners obviously have big guns. She has a giant bazooka. So if you look at any card, you'll see a few stats that will be similar across all of the cards. So first of all is the speed. So Des has a speed 4, so that's simply how many hexes she can move when she runs. So she can move up to that speed, so you don't have to move your full 4. You've got Def, which is defense. So you'll have two stats for each character. Des's stats are 3, 6. So in order to hit a character with an attack, you have to roll at least their first stat, and that will do 1 point of damage. And if you roll enough strikes on the dice to hit their second defense stat, then that's considered a super strike, which does super damage, which is 2 damage points. And then right along with that to the right, you can see stamina, which is 3 for Des, so that's how many health points she has. So once she takes 3 points of damage, she's going to be knocked out and go into the cooler, which we'll get to in a little bit. So all characters are going to have that top line with the different stats. So then we have some different abilities. So each of the character classes, there are 6 character classes, I believe. Gunner is the first one here, and each of the character classes will have an ability in common between all characters in that character class. So for Gunners, that ability is Aim. So this model can re-roll any number of action dice, so that's the white die, when it makes a ranged attack. So this is really powerful for Gunners, and they may be potentially rolling more dice than they would normally, or potentially less if they want to risk it, because it gives you a better chance of either hitting the super strikes or just hitting the base defense. So really nice ability there for ranged attacks. She also has high density armor, so this is a Des specific thing. This model cannot be moved by enemy effects or abilities. So there's lots of things like Beatback, if you're familiar with War Machine and Hordes, or Monpok, different abilities like that can move enemy models around the board, so she's immune to that. So she's got a dagger and a supercharged bazooka, so these stats we'll see similarly on other cards. So you'll see, first of all, the round kind of scope type icon, and that is the range for the weapon. So the dagger, for example, is a range 1, so she can just poke guys that are directly beside her. With her supercharged bazooka, she's got a range of 3. So she has to be within 3 squares, or 3 hexes, to be able to shoot the person. So some melee weapons might have a range of 2, or if you get some sweet Riot Gear later on, they might be even further than that. So next we have, with the attack, we have, it might be a little hard to see the color on there, but it's a blue dice icon beside the attack, and that's how many boost dice you get from when you roll that attack. So you get those for free. You can't see that. Boost dice. There we go. Yeah. Boost dice.
I was trying to open it up. You know,
I got that part covered. You're out.
Oh, just
you get that number of blue die or boost dice when you make the attack. So when you make an attack, you have to always roll at least 1 white dice. You can roll as many white dice as you like. But you'll always get that blue dice, those blue dice for free. And then also some weapons that are more powerful, you will see red dice on them. So for her supercharged bazooka, she also gets a red dice, which means she has a higher chance of hitting because there are more strikes on the red dice. You also see some Riot Gear that give the option of adding more red dice to the attack as well. So, finally, Des has Beatback. So if this model hits an enemy with this attack, after the attack is resolved, you can move that enemy up to 2 spaces so long as the enemy ends farther from this model than it begins. That's specifically on her supercharged bazooka. So it's like a knockback of 2 spaces, which is a really nice kind of board control type abilities. That is Des. So we can grab the next person out here, guys. Bear with us. Bear with us. All right, next. Probably one of my favorites. Gubbin is amazing.
best attack meme
He's
ever.
just like, Gubbin is hilarious. As his model is super cool. Little tricky to see his model there. There you go. All right. And scroll down a bit so we can actually see it better. There we go. And come over this way. All right, that's better. All right, so Gubbin is a little gobber that is just packed full of bombs and explosives, which is awesome. So he's just got, if you look closely at the model, just everywhere that he could pack explosives there are bombs, and dynamite and everything. So it's pretty sweet. So Gubbin is a speed 5. He's a rogue class, so you can see the two kind of crossed daggers at the top left of the card. He's got a pretty high defense, so his defense is 5/6, but his stamina is only 2. So if he suffers 2 points of damage, which means if anybody happens to hit that defense 6, he's going to take super damage and he is going to be knocked out. So he has, the ability that all rogues have is called Sneak. So Sneak reads, this model can move through spaces occupied by enemies. So normally you can only move through your own crew models, but the rogues can move through enemy models as well, which is nice. And his defensive type ability is Sidestep. So if this model is missed by an attack, it can move up to 3 spaces immediately after resolving the attack, which is quite handy. So Gubbin does not have a melee attack, because who needs a melee attack when you've got a million explosives? So his attack is literally called Too Many Explosives. So this is a range 3 attack. He gets 4 blue dice on this, and the special ability on this attack is called Explosion. When this model uses a ranged attack to target an enemy, all models adjacent to that target, including your crew, are targeted as well, regardless of this weapon's range. Only make 1 dice roll and compare the results to each target. So this is effectively an AoE attack. So if there are 1 or more models that are beside the guy that you're targeting, they're potentially going to take damage as well. So Gubbin can very well blow himself up. He can blow his other teammates up. But if the enemies have grouped up, then you can potentially blow up multiple models as well. So pretty cool little model. He dies pretty easy if you hit him, but he's pretty glorious while he survives. So
The name of the attack sells him right there.
Just, it's perfect. Too many explosives. Alright, so this is, if I can get that on there properly, there we go. Come this way, Dave, this way, there you go. And here's the model. Alright, so this is Balthazar Bamfist. So he is, I believe he hails from the mysterious land of Zoo, which is a land that is mentioned in the War Machine Hordes lore. So he is a specialist type character, so you can see at the top left, he's got a wrench icon. I forgot to mention that each one of the character classes is also color coded, so he's kind of got that purpley type color, and those will actually match up with things like chests or bounties that character class gets bonuses to, so it's really easy to see what's what. There are also icons and text on all of them, but the color is just a really nice quick reference. So you speed 4, defense of 3/5, and stamina 3. So all specialists have the Tinker ability. So when you equip this model or a model in your crew adjacent to it with Riot Gear, reduce the loot cost of the Riot Gear card by 2 to a minimum of 1. So it allows him to put Riot Gear stuff on for cheaper, or allow your team to do that. And his special ability is it's an action, so it's action and power. When this model performs this action, choose another model in your crew within 2 spaces of it and return 2 action dice spent by that model to your dice wall. So a lot of text there, but this is really powerful because a character can only activate if it does not already have, if it has no action dice on it. So if my Eris goes and she does a bunch of cool stuff, she's done if she's already spent action dice. But Bamfist can actually remove those action dice, meaning that you can actually activate her again later in the turn. It also frees up those action dice, those 2 action dice, to allow you to get more actions out of the round, which is really cool. So he's got Mecha Fist, which is a range 1. He gets 3 blue dice, so it's got Beatback, which we've seen on, I believe it was on Dez's rocket launcher. So if this model hits an enemy with the attack, you can basically move them back 2 spaces. It has to be farther away from you than they began. So that is Mr. Balthazar Bamfist.
You gotta give credit whoever's thinking of the names.
Yes, it is pretty, some pretty creative stuff. So this guy is pretty funny too, how they did his backstory and stuff. So this is Sir Dreyfus. So he's a 40 mil model, a little hard to see there. He also has a jetpack on his back, which is a little tricky to see. But so Sir Dreyfus, he always wanted to be a Storm Knight, but he always washed out. So he was the loser that could never make the cut. If you look closely at his model, he's like super skinny, he's got chicken legs and stuff, so he's not the typical like beefy, strong Storm Knight type guy. So So of course, after the world ended and there were no Storm Knights left, of course he could become a Storm Knight because he was the only guy around. So he's got like a Stormglaive or Stormlance, and he's got a like an Electro type shield. It's got all the Storm Knight armor on it that he's basically looted, and he's now a self-proclaimed Storm Knight. So, but he's basically a failure that nobody can really argue with now because there's nobody around to argue with him in terms of him being a Storm Knight. So Sir Dreyfus is a guard character. Guards have the Safeguard ability, so other models in your crew adjacent to this model gain cover. So cover is +1 defense, that applies to both melee and ranged attacks, and it increases both your base and your secondary defense. So for example, if Sir Dreyfus had cover, he doesn't give himself cover, but if he had cover, he would go to a 4/6. So he's a speed 4, 3/6, stamina 3. He's got Safeguard, he's got Flank, so enemy models within 2 spaces of him are -1 defense against melee attacks, so that he does take advantage of that, so it works for him, and it also works for other guys in your crew, so it makes people easier to hit. And he has Action Leap. So he can spend an action dice, and he can basically be placed anywhere within 2 spaces, which is quite handy. So, and it's not considered a move, it's considered a place, so you can bounce over other models or bounce over barrier spaces. It allows him to get kind of where he needs to be on the board. So his Stormlance is range 1, and he's got 4 boost dice on it, and then he's got Electrical Bolt that he can shoot 2 spaces away, and it is 2 blue dice on that. So, all right, that is Sir Dreyfus. And then finally, for characters in the box, we have everybody's favorite, Eris. So Eris this is going to be her 3rd iteration of the War Machine, 4th iteration of the War Machine world. So she's had many iterations before. So she's of course the ninja mage hunting assassin elf, basically. She's always had her crossbows and does typically lots of cool things. Is usually pretty fast and pretty hard to hit. So Eris is a scout character class. You can see that by the eyeball at the top left corner. So Eris has speed 5, she's defense 4/5, and stamina 3. So she has Spotter, which all scouts have. So Spotter, if you're within 2 squares, you drop the defense of enemy models by 1 for ranged attacks. So it's basically what Sir Dreyfus has, but for ranged attacks. So she makes other guys easier to hit if she's close enough. So she's Motivator. So other models in your crew that begin a run within 2 spaces of her gain +1 speed. And if you're familiar with the Taskmaster in Montauk, it's the same type of ability. So speeding up if you're close enough to her. So she has a Gunblade, which she never wants to use. It's range 1 with 2 blue dice. And then she has Magna Bow pistols, which are range 3, gets 3 blue dice. And she has Swift Hunter, so if she hits an enemy model with the ranged attack, she can move 3 spaces immediately after the attack is resolved. So that's pretty handy because she can kind of hit and run from there as well. So that is Eris, and then we'll just quickly go over the Riot Gear that comes in the set as well. All right, so first of all, we have Shard of Wrathrock. So this is to beef up your melee guys. You'll see at each one of the sides of each one of these cards, you've got a number of coins. That's the number of coins that you have to spend to equip that item. So the Shard of Wrathrock, so if you equip it to a character, they get +1 power dice on their melee attacks, so it allows them to hit harder. They also gain the charge ability, which is the fighter ability. So when you charge, if you have moved, so if you spend a dice to run and then do an attack, you get +1 power dice. So it's kind of like you've got momentum behind your attack. They also gain the fighter class in addition to their original class, which allows them to potentially interact with other bounties and cards. So this is there's no actual fighter in the starter kit, so this turns one of your guys into a fighter. So that is the Shard of Wrathrock. And I believe that's the most expensive piece of equipment. So now we have the Galvanic Repulsor. So this gives you a special action. So it gives the hero the shove ability. So when you spend an action dice to do the shove ability, you can move an adjacent enemy model up to 4 spaces. they just can't end their movement closer or adjacent to you. So it allows you to push a guy far away, which is handy. This one's pretty sweet. So this is bang rounds, and if you can see on the picture there, it says "From Des with Love." So this is a giant bazooka round, basically. So this hero gains +1 power dice on its ranged attacks, and gain beat back. So allows you to push somebody back 2 spaces if you hit them with a ranged attack. So Des already has that by default, but if you do put this on Des, it gives her an extra power dice to hit, which means she's very accurate with her bazooka. Next we have the Hyper Spring Boots. The Hyper Spring Boots, so when this hero spends an action die to run before moving, you can roll 2 power dice. This hero gains +1 speed disactivation for each strike rolled and suffers 1 damage for each miss roll. So they're kind of like experimental boots that are cost of 2. You roll 2 power dice, you can potentially speed up, but there's also the potential to damage yourself. Keeping in mind that the power dice have the least number of strikes, so it's a good chance that you're going to be going farther and not taking as much damage. Finally, we have Echo Displacer, which is a 3 cost. The hero gains cover and the cloak ability. So cover will give you +1 defense, and cloak means that if you are more than 2 spaces away, you cannot shoot that character. So a really good way to keep your character safe from guns. So that is all of the Riot Gear and the heroes that come with the base game. So when you build your team, you have, so there are 5 characters in the base box, but in a full game, you can bring up to 10 characters with you. You only ever have 4 characters on the board. The other thing is that you can bring a number of Riot Gear cards equal to the number of characters that you bring. So if you brought 10 characters, you would bring up to 10 Riot Gear cards, which gives you a lot of flexibility. You can't have the same, a copy of the same Riot Gear card in your hand, so they do have to all be different, but it does give you a lot of flexibility. And each one of the new releases that comes out has its own new Riot Gear. So bear with me, guys, just getting the dice can set back up there. All right, so I think we're good to go. Just check for questions here. All right. Yes, Aaron, I just went through and showed all the cards. Hopefully you can see that. And if not, you'll be able to rewind afterwards and check that out. So I apologize for anybody who was already familiar with the cards. That might have been a little bit long, but I know there were some people specifically that wanted to see the cards. So, all right, so we'll go ahead and get started. So the Riot Gear basically stays in your hand or in front of you. So it's basically out of play until you actually attach it to somebody. So we start the game by rolling to see who has priority. So who's going to be spawning first and taking the first turn. Then at the end of or beginning of every round, you roll again, basically to see who has initiative for that round. So you can go ahead and roll 6 dice.
Please. Perfect.
All right,
to go first.
All right, sounds good. So I've got a whack of strikes there, so I'll be going first. So when you start at the beginning of a round, you start with spawning. So at the beginning of the round, obviously we have no characters in play. If you have less than 4 characters in play, that's immediately the first thing you do at the round is you need to spawn until you have up to 4 characters. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to spawn Des first. So I'm going to go ahead and roll a d6, and we'll see where she spawns out. So she's going to spawn at the number 2. So you can see these blue squares here. These are spawn gates. So we will see we've got number 2 right here. So I'm going to put Des right here on any square that's adjacent to the 2. So the spawn gates are actually barriers, so you cannot place your model on them. So it has to be adjacent. You also can't move through them unless you have a special ability that allows you to hop over them. For example, Sir Dreyfus's leap ability. All right, so now Matt, you get to choose a character and roll to see where they're going to come in.
I think he's just hilarious.
He is hilarious. 1 for Mr. Gubbin.
Gubbin.
All right, I'm going to do Eris next. All right, Eris is coming out at the 6, which is right here.
All right.
All right.
I'm gonna do Sir Dreyfus.
Okay.
And let's see what I'm gonna get. 6.
Ooh, 6 as well. All right. Now, the one thing I will mention
Yep.
is that, so I'm going first, which means I'm going to get the first opportunity to attack. If you are adjacent to me, I do not need to spend an action dice to get close enough to you, for example. I mean, I can shoot you anyway, but if I was a melee character, you just have made it so that I don't have to spend that extra resource, so I can do extra things. So that's something to keep in mind. All right, so Sir Dreyfus is hanging out with Eris there, so I am going to now do, I think I need to do my Gubbin as well, because Gubbin is amazing. Everybody needs a Gubbin.
I just like the model.
It's a 5, he's glorious. And they've also made a blinged out Gubbin. He's going to be the event prize.
Okay.
And so he's like, basically the idea is that he's won, the battle's over, and everywhere where there's bombs is just loot. Like he's got like bling everywhere. He's got like pots of gold, and he's got just loot hanging out of every crevice. So it's pretty hilarious. It's basically like the Montauk special building that you can get for an event. So, all right, I'm coming out at 5. So we're gonna go.
I could just see Gubbin blinged out.
He's just it's hilarious.
All right.
And you'll be doing a maximum of 4 characters.
So I'm up for 2. I like Des.
Des is pretty sweet.
All right, let's see what I'm going to get for that.
You're going for the 5. All right, we're all on that side of the board. All right, finally, I'll do Sir Dreyfus. And he's coming out of the 3. So he can hang tight with Des. All right, and Mr. Banfist will hang out over here.
You know what? I got a copy with Eris too.
That's good. He's pretty cool.
No love for.
Coming out of the 1. All right, and hopefully you guys can see the edges of the bases okay. I've kind of, so the ones that Matt are using are just the standard black bases, and the ones that I'm using, like Sir Dreyfus and Des over here, have the kind of the copper edging. So we'll get that fixed for later on, make it easier. And I apologize, we did miss one step that we're supposed to actually do first. So we're supposed to actually do the treasure chests and stuff first. So we're going to flip over 2 bounties. So I'll just flip this over and read it to you guys. So I don't have to kind of rejig the cameras again.
Unless the card goes over the map.
Correct, which is exactly what's happening. All right, so the first bounty that we have is called Bullet Magnet. Place a turret token on a random treasure beacon. So Matt, roll me a d6.
6, and we're going to go for 3.
All right, so turret. So that's going to be on the 3.
Yep.
So the goal, a hero adjacent to the turret can rig to break it. If successful, that hero's controller and player claims this bounty, so the bounty's worth 2. If unsuccessful, all models within 2 spaces of the turret suffer 1 damage. So whenever you're doing a rig, you're rolling 3 blue dice, and you're trying to hit a 3. So for this particular one, it says Gunner or Guard hero, so it's color-coded to the color of the hero, get a bonus. So if that shows up on a card or anything else in the game, it means that you also roll red dice, which, because you're not rolling any white dice, you have to spend the white dice to attempt to rig, and then you would roll these, for example. So that's our first bounty. And then our second bounty is going to be Brain Snatcher. So the setup is place a Cortex token on a random treasure beacon. So if you don't want to roll me another d6, 1. That's going to be on the 1. All right, so random treasure beacon. So the goal, at the end of each player's turn, if that player controls at least 2 heroes adjacent to the Cortex token and more heroes adjacent than any opponent, the player claims this bounty. That one's worth 1. So basically you're trying to have 2 or more guys there and have more guys than I have there to claim the bounty. And then finally we'll do the treasure. The first one we're going to get is the locked chest. So rogues can raid this treasure chest without spending an action dice. So Gubbin doesn't have to spend the dice to get this one. So with the loot chest, when you raid it, you roll a boost dice, and whatever the strikes that come up, that dictates what you're going to get for the loot and the abilities and things. So that's the lock chest. If you want to roll me a d6. 3. Going up on the 3. So if you want to grab the locked chest, it looks like this guy. It's going to be in that.
That's
kind of a greenish.
There it is.
All right, cool. So that's going on the 3.
Yeah, it's on your side there.
All right. Ooh, we have 2 things here. All right, so that's going to go there. And then once those are resolved, then we will roll. Let's do it that way a little bit. Basically, at the beginning of each turn, you replenish so that you always have 2 and 1. All right, so I'm going first.
Okay.
So I'm going to go ahead and I want that I'm gonna get that bullet magnet. I'm gonna try and get this this turret taken care of because I get a bonus on it anyway. So I'm gonna spend 1 action dice. I'm gonna activate Sir Dreyfus. He's going to waddle over to here, and I'm going to spend 1 action dice to attempt to rig. All right, so I'm gonna get 3 blue dice is what you always get, and I'm gonna get 1 red dice because my character class gets a bonus to this. So I'm looking for a 3. So I just managed to get a 3, so I'm going to get this bounty. So this guy goes away. This bounty card comes to me, and that counts in my victory card pile. And I can't remember if I also said that when you knock out a character, you can claim a scrap card, which counts as a victory point. So you're looking for 7. So that was pretty fortunate that that ended up landing right beside me. Now, I also want to try and, you know what, I'm going to also raid this chest. So I'm going to spend 1. On him to raid the chest. So I'll take this, and I'm going to roll a blue dice, and I get a blank, so I get, I think 3 loot tokens. All right, so that just goes into the discard pile, basically.
Okay.
All right, so I'm going to get 3 loot tokens, and I'm going to call that a turn, sir. So over to you.
Okay, so at what point does it replenish?
At the beginning of your turn, so you go ahead and draw. I'll draw this one. Yeah, you draw that one and read it out.
All right, so we got a spiked chest. Gunners can raid this treasure chest without spending any action.
Okay.
So we got gunners on this one.
Perfect.
That's there. So Dave, if you don't mind rolling you guys.
Going on the 5.
Where are we?
5's right here.
Okay.
All right.
So
Nice.
put
Right
that
with my
there.
dad's. I like it.
All right.
Okay. Put that right on there, and then I'll get a. Just because of the way I have the camera set up.
Fair.
So the bounty is going to be Weird Little Bugger. So for the setup, place a gremlin token in the center of the arena map. The gremlin can be picked up. So this is the center here. So the goal, a hero holding the gremlin can rig to subdue it. So that's rolling your 3 blue dice trying to get 3 strikes. If successful, that hero's controlling player claims this bounty. If unsuccessful, the player with priority, so the player whose turn it is, places the gremlin token adjacent to a random spawn gate. So it basically slips out of your grasp and disappears if you don't manage to subdue him. And that one, heroes, so you get the bonus red dice if you are adjacent to a treasure chest when you do that. So if Des moved to here, for example, because she's here, she would get the bonus dice.
Okay.
Or I guess she would have to move there to pick it up and then move back because you have to actually pick them up. So, all right, so your turn, sir. Who are you going to activate?
Well, I'm going to activate Des.
Okay.
So I'm going to place my 1 there just so I can activate the move there. Or not Des, Eris.
Okay, sounds good.
Without being starting to tell. So I can move all the, so 5, so 1, 2, 3, 4. I can be here, open the chest, and then.
What you'll want to do is go 1, 2, 3, 4, and then to here, for example.
Okay.
Because you have to move through that square to pick it up, and then it goes onto your card.
Okay.
And then
so
you'll be
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this, I pick this up.
Yep, there you go.
I put it on my card.
Yep. Okay.
Okay.
So now you can spend 1 action dice to try and subdue
So
a little bugger.
I'm going to spend 1 action
Yep.
dice, so I get 3
So you
blue
get
red.
3
And then the bonus for that bugger
is
is.
the treasure, being adjacent to the treasure.
So I get to take 1 red.
Exactly. So you're looking for a 3.
And I got
dinner.
4.
All right, so you're going to get the weird little bugger card.
It's a weird little bugger card.
Yep.
All right.
And I'll take the gremlin
Token back.
over here.
All right, and then I'm gonna spend another action dice just to take the treasure
All right,
chest.
sounds good.
So
Perfect.
I'm gonna take.
Put it in the pile there, and then roll a blue dice.
All right, and all right.
All right, so if you look there on the top, it'll tell you what you're gonna get.
I'm gonna get 3 loot
All right,
tokens.
perfect. And if you want to, you can also spend the loot now. I forgot about that on my turn. So if you want to, you can either spend the loot now, or you can carry on. So,
I'm going to call it a turn at that point, just because I don't want to drain the dice well, because it seems like.
okay, so you can spend you can equip the loot without having to spend any dice. So for example, if you wanted to put a defensive item on somebody or something, then you could do that.
Okay.
So and it can be anybody. It's not just the character that you activated. So if you wanted to throw like the fancy cloak of cloakiness on Eris, for example, or something, then you can do something like that. Or you can carry on. It's totally up to you.
Yeah. And because Dez is right around Eris. So to be honest, that sounds. I'm going to play my 3 treasures.
Okay.
Echo Displacer is going to go on Eris.
Perfect. Okay, sounds good. So Eris is now +1 defense, and ranged attacks automatically miss. So she can't be targeted by ranged attacks, I guess, outside of 2 squares. All right, cool.
I'm going to call that a turn now.
All right, sounds good. So I will go ahead and flip the next bounty. All right, Bullseye. So the goal, after any ability modifiers or cover have been applied, if a hero rolls exactly as many strikes as either of the target's defense values when attacking, that hero's controlling player claims this bounty. So a bit of a tricky one.
Yeah.
And then if you want to grab a new treasure card.
All right. Iron Chest, so that's the red one here.
Okay.
If you want to roll, Dave.
Going on the 4.
And the 4 for treasure is right here.
Perfect.
All right, and so the Iron Chest is fighters are the ones that are after
Okay.
the Iron Chest.
Okay, which we have no fighters, but if you put the Shard of Wrathrock on, then you become a fighter effectively.
Oh, that's
All right.
okay.
Yeah, you become a fighter plus any of your other classes, plus you get the charge ability.
That's
All right. So we've got a chest over there, so I can. Who have I got? I've got Gubbin right there. Gubbin wants to throw a bomb at somebody too. What else have I got around me? I've got the Cortex, which I can't get because I need to get him all the way over there, and that's everything's on your side of the board. Oh, I guess I should. I have these victory point things on here for a reason. So I am at 2 victory points, and you're at 2 as well.
Yep.
All right. So 2, 2, 2, 2, and 2. All right. Okay. So I am going to activate. I think Gubbin would be glorious to activate. So we're going to go ahead and I'm going to move Gubbin. I'm going to move him 1, 2, 3, 4. He has a speed of, I guess I have to run him 5, so he's going to go to here. I'm going to, what is his range? He wants to throw stuff at you too. All right. Ooh. Do I have enough to? I totally do. That'll be hilarious. All right.
I don't like when you say that's gonna be hilarious. That's usually not a good sign for me. Let's just be honest.
All right. I'm gonna spend 1 dice to loot the treasure.
Okay.
Or to raid the treasure chest.
So I'm gonna take the treasure chest off.
All right. So I get a 2 this time. So I get. I gain 4 loot tokens this time, so that's pretty sweet. 3, 4. And I can immediately remove all damage tokens from a model in my crew, which is very nice, but none of my dudes are damaged right now. So, okay. Right, and what do I have to do? I have to hit at least. It's Brain Snatcher, is the Cortex over there. Bullseye is I have to hit you exactly. All right, now we're going to spend 1. He's going to throw bombs at you. We're going for it. So, I'm going to equip him with the bang rounds, I think, too, because that sounds hilarious. So I'm going to spend 3. I'm going to put the bang rounds on Gubbin because more explosives.
You know what? The solution to any problem is just more explosives.
So I'm going to have to roll this dice. And because I moved him, I raided the treasure chest. This one is the one I'm rolling to try and hit you. So I have 3 blue dice, which is what he gets. Oh, he gets 4 base. Oh. And then he also gets 1 power dice for the bang round. And I am a range of 3, so I have you in range. All right, here we go. What's Dez's defense?
Dez's 3 and 6.
3 and 6.
So you need a 3 or 6.
All right, so 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, so I hit you, but just for 1 point of damage.
Okay.
And you will be beat back. I'll beat you back to here.
Okay.
All right. And that is all I can do, sir. So, so when your dice well is empty, you're done. So when it comes back to my turn, I have to pass. The other thing, I don't know whether we mentioned it or not, but if a character has action dice on it, you cannot activate that same character again later in the round. So, all right, so we'll go ahead and we're going to move to you, but we'll do if you want to grab a new treasure chest there.
Yeah, of course. All right, so we have a ticking treasure chest. All right, so that's blue. Dave, if you can give me a number.
Bye.
We're
a 4.
I'm going to put it right back there. Okay, and guards can raid this one.
All right, your Des is nice and close.
Yep.
All right, so that's good. We've got 2 bounties there, so you're good to go.
Des isn't a guard.
No, she's not good. Oh, I was thinking gunner. Never mind.
Yeah, not a guard gunner. Tomato top.
Yeah, that's all the same.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, what are you gonna do now? Keeping in mind, I have no more action dice for this round, so you're essentially you can activate one character, do something, activate another character, do something, and do that until all of your action dice are gone.
And so what's this? What's the second one again?
So for that one, you have to have 2 characters adjacent and more characters than I have adjacent. So for that one, if you moved,
So Dreyfus and
Yep, because what's Sir Dreyfus's speed?
is 4. So
Yep, so he can get there, and then Gubbin could get there, and then what else have you got? And then you could have.
I can't get Daz in.
You could.
It's gonna have to be 2.
Yes, yeah.
I
I
can't.
don't think I see any other way for you to. You could then poke Eris or something if you wanted to, with or shoot her with Gubbin. So that's an option. But yeah, I think you'll be moving in basically, and then trying to get that Cortex, because the Cortex one is just worth 1, but it is going to give you something. So.
All right, so I'm going to. Do I need to use any power dice to activate the Cortex?
You do not.
So I can basically, in theory, use 1 dice to activate Gubbin and move him.
Yep.
1 dice to activate and Sir Dreyfus.
Exactly.
Claim the Cortex and take a stab at.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. So you'll basically activate 1 character, and then technically it comes to me, and then I have to pass because I have no dice left, and then you will carry on from there because I'm done. Once I pass, I'm done for the round. So.
All right, so I'm going to activate Gubbin.
Okay.
And he's going to move. Who can hit harder? To be honest, they're the same for what I'm trying to do.
Okay.
So Gubbin can move 3. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for speed.
Okay.
So Gubbin is done. Dave has to pass as he has no dice.
Right.
I'm going to activate Sir Dreyfus. So 1 dice is going to move him for his speed 4. 1, 2. Yeah. So 1, 2, 3. I don't need the 4. So then we're going to claim the.
So at the end of your turn, you'll claim the Cortex. So the Cortex will go into here. I'll take the Cortex here, and you will get this guy here.
Okay.
So you get the Brain Snatcher.
So
on that turn.
Well, I'm gonna poke Eris.
Yes, yep. So you get Brain Snatcher technically at the end, that's fine. And now you poke Eris.
Okay.
So you spend 1.
1 and I get 4 blue.
Are you going with Dreyfus?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. He also has flank, so which is good.
Yeah, that was why I wanted to mind.
So my Eris is now a 3/4.
Okay.
1, 2, 3, just enough. So I'll
just
take
for
1 point of damage on Eris.
Okay. So yeah.
But your Gubbin is adjacent to him, so he has cover, which is handy. So
yes.
That's cool.
Okay.
All right. Cool. So you put your white dice on Gubbin.
And
Or around Dreyfus, I guess.
Yeah.
So you're done now. So now what would happen is if either of us had characters that were in the cooler, this is called the cooldown phase. So if I had a guy in the cooler, you roll white dice equal to how many guys you have there, and for however many strikes you get is how many people come out of the cooler and are available on your bench to spawn. So you have nobody there. The other thing that you can also do is you can evacuate. So if you have a character on the center or adjacent to the center that is not damaged, you can take them out, and that would allow you, when you start your next turn, to spawn in a different character.
So in theory right now, just theory, I like where Eris is, so I could evacuate Eris if I wanted to pull in Valzir.
Exactly. So you could bring in Banfist, and he could, that way, if there was a chest or something that he could, he's got the bonus on, or you wanted to just use him, or you have, it's going to become more flexible once we have more characters in your roster, because you have 10 guys to choose from effectively. But the only thing that you cannot do You can't evacuate if they're injured, so they have to be uninjured and in the middle or adjacent.
Okay.
All right, so none of that has to be resolved, so we're going to go ahead and we will just take our dice and move them back to our dice vault, and then we're actually going to roll them again to see who now has priority. And you're at 3 points?
Yes, 3
I'm
points.
just going to just do that for a second first.
This is actually a pretty darn like straightforward.
Once
good
you've
game.
got the basics, it's just like bang, bang, bang. Like it's nice that way. So.
It's got simple but good mechanics.
Yep. The dice are familiar. The models are familiar. All right, so let's roll to see who's going first, or who's going to have priority this turn.
I've got 5.
I also have 5.
Reroll.
All right.
Holy, that was a
I
bad
have
roll.
4 that
I
time.
have 1.
Oh, nice. Okay, so I'm going first.
Yeah.
All right, so what have we got now? And who's got damage on them?
I've got damage on Dez only right now.
Dez, okay.
And Dez is right there.
Right, and I've got damage on
Eris.
Okay. So Dez has 3 health.
So 2 left on Dez, and Eris has 2 health left.
All right. So, where's my? Just way over there. It'd be hilarious to walk over there and throw a gubbin bomb. That'd be glorious.
Well, we're missing a step though.
Yes, we are actually. Bam. All right, so we're gonna get our other bounty token out, our bounty card out. So this one's called Look, a Death Trap. So the setup: place a trap token in the center of the arena map. So the trap token is
I don't like trap token.
it's a death trap. Even this one's really fun.
Is it going to clock us out?
All right, yes, death trap, not death clock. So the goal: if a hero is ever in the same space as the trap token, that hero is immediately knocked out. At the end of each player's turn, that player can move the trap token 1 space. If a hero adjacent to the trap token can rig it to disarm it. If successful, that hero's controlling player claims this bounty. And fighter and scout heroes have the bonus on that one. So, I like that. I'm going first, eh? Okay.
That would have been glorious if I was going first.
Because you get the bonuses there too.
Yep, because I got Eris right there already.
All right.
I'll call blueberries.
That's the plan. All right, so your Dez has been hurt. I have to do 2 to do super damage to her. My Eris is there. What have we got on the board first? That one is a guard, like that one. So 1, 2, 3, 4, I think is his speed. And 5, 6 if he jumps. All right, what do I want somebody to do? All right, we're gonna go with, I'm gonna go with Gubbin. Gubbin's going for it. All right, so Gubbin is going to, so you spend 1 to activate Gubbin. He's going to move. So he's going to go 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so I'm going to spend 1 to get the treasure. So I will roll my treasure roll.
Hang on. Can you not get it needs a guard.
I can get it, but if you're a guard, if you match the
Right, you
thing,
bring that
you
one.
don't have to spend an
Okay.
extra dice. So I will get that one, and I'm going to get 4 loot. That's pretty nice for a consolation prize for rolling poorly. You can only ever have 10 loot.
Okay.
All right. Now, Gubbin is going to blast Divs. So I don't want to do anything for. What else do I want to do for equipment on people? All right, so I'm going to blast Divs. I'm going to get 4 of these because I get those base, and then I'm going to get 1 of these for my bang rounds. And Dez is a 3 to 6. 3 to 6. And 1, 2, just 3. So you take 1 damage on Dez. Let's go here on Mr. Gubbin.
And because
I will beat you back. I'm going to send you, I would like you being like right there. Eris is not looking like she's going to have a good time. I'll send you 1 square over. There you All right.
You also get something else. You matched my health with the roll.
Oh, exactly, don't I? Yeah,
Yes.
right. So I get the bullseye, which will put me up to 3. Good catch on that. So we are now tied.
I'm not just a pretty face, Dave.
Yes, yes. You get the brains and the beauty and you got everything. Got it all. All right. So that's him. Now, do I want to put any equipment on anybody? I kind of feel like Eris is getting dead. So I'm going to put. What is her defense? All right. I'm going to spend 3 to put the Echo Displacer on Eris, making her a little slightly harder to hit. Okay, that's the end of my turn. I'm going to move the Death Trap 1 square. So I'm going to move it to here. And you get knocked out.
So I can't use.
Correct. Because that happens on my turn. So, the hero is ever in the same space as the trap token. The hero is immediately knocked out. At the end of each player's turn, it can move the trap token 1 space. All right. So now the kicker is that's not an attack for me. Let me just think. Let me just read the scrap card. Scrap cards is 26 because I don't know whether I only get them. Scrap cards are a constant method that any player can use to score victory points. All cards are identical. Each time a hero knocks out an enemy is described, the controlling player adds a scrap card.
It sounds like hero on hero.
Each time a hero knocks out an enemy, yeah. So I don't think I would get a scrap card.
Yeah, if somebody on the stream knows better, like
yeah, no, I think we got that right. So okay, that is me. Oh, and this has to go away.
All right.
All right, so it'll go over to you.
So let's roll some bounties first.
So all right, so the bounties. So bombing run. Place a bomb token on the center space of the arena map. Then place a target token on a random spawn gate. The bomb can be picked up. The goal. So we'll set it up first. So bomb token in the center. So here's the bomb.
All right.
And then if you want to roll a d6 for me.
You got her. We got a 3.
3. So 3 is going to be random spawn gate. So I'm going to put it on the spawn gate.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so the goal, the hero holding the bomb adjacent to the target token can rig to plant the bomb. If successful, the hero's controlling player claims this bounty. If unsuccessful, the hero holding the bomb suffers 2 damage. So you have to get the bomb, get to here, and then make a rig test. So that one's worth 2, so that's a pretty good one, but it will potentially do 2 damage to you. I'm going to grab it.
Yep, throw treasure. All right, so we got a puzzle chest.
Okay.
It's for specialists.
All right.
If you can give me a roll, Dave.
All right. Mr. Balthazar, that's a 2.
2, where is
2 is going to be right here.
All right, there we go. That actually wasn't a bad throw.
There you go, perfect. Okay, so we are all set, so that's over to you, sir.
All right, so unfortunately,
I guess that stays there. Oh, she goes away too. She'll go into your cooler, actually.
okay, I was wondering because like it says knocked out, so and that stays there.
And at the end of your turn, you'll be able to move it.
Yeah, and that's worth 2 points to disarm that.
Correct. Or 2 damage points if you fail. Everybody likes playing with bombs.
Well, you know there is rub and guppy for that.
Mm-hmm.
All right, what is this?
I hear it's a blast.
His attack is literally called Too Many Explosives.
Which is impossible.
Yeah, you should see the character page. The list of his weapons is like this big. It literally lists out like 50 different types. Oh man. Yes.
3, 4, and I can use the action without using any dice, right?
So for this one, you have to walk to it. You have to walk over it to pick it up.
Oh, I'm going for the.
Oh, you're going for there? Yeah. Yeah.
Because I've got Sir Dreyfus.
Mm-hmm.
He's only got a speed of 4, so because he's got that leap ability to get me the extra 2. Am I reading that right?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so
you can move 4, and then you can bounce for 2, or bounce another 2 to costing another 1. So you'd spend 2 dice to get there, and then you would spend 1 dice to try the rig.
Or do I want to kill your Eris? That's the.
The other thing that you can do is you can land on here to pick up the bomb and to do this. Then you've got the bomb set up for potentially next turn. So
That's a 2-fer.
Because then I have to kill you in order to get a bomb from you to get.
I like that a lot better, to be flat out honest with you.
Okay.
So I'm going to use 1 to move his 4.
Okay.
So 1, 2, 3, 4.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to have to pay another.
Mm-hmm.
Now, what does the 8 mean for it? Just action?
Action. So you spend a dice basically.
Oh,
So,
it is
yeah.
still spent.
Yeah.
All right, so 1 there.
So you bounce onto the bomb. So you've got the bomb. The bomb goes onto your card there.
Oh, I was
Or that works fine too. And this is where you're trying to get it later on. But now you can try the rig roll.
So I'm going to
for
spend
the death
1
trap.
for the rig, and I get 3. That's
3,
it.
looking for a 3.
And
I don't think if it fails anything.
like, do I get? Is there the guard was the one that I got the bonus, didn't it?
No, fighter or scout. Damn. So you have to. You're gonna try this, but you don't die if it doesn't.
It doesn't matter anyway.
You got the death trap gone. So that is this one. That's 2.
Yep, I'll take the 2,
Sounds good.
and I'll get rid of. I'll throw you back the
And
trap.
that puts you up to 5. Ooh, only needing 7.
All right, and
Now when your turn is done, you get to move the. Oh, never mind. Then we got rid of the death trap. So this is normally where you would then move the death trap.
Right.
So,
so I'm going to call out my turn to save dice.
okay, sounds good.
So let's
For
spawn
me,
it.
so we'll do the new bounty. So we are going to get a. All right, freaking imposters. So the goal: if a hero's attack knocks out an enemy with the same class, that hero's controlling player claims this bounty. If the enemy has the same name as well, that hero's controlling player also gains 3 loot tokens.
That's made for the starters.
Yeah,
Let's be honest.
So if you take out, well, there's also going to be eventually we're going to have so many characters, but that's why they have the first clause in there. Because I think they said they're going to have by next mock mode they're going to have 30 characters released.
Holy cow, that's a
yeah,
lot.
Yeah, they said there's going to be a lot of support for this game apparently. All right, so the puzzle chest is a specialist.
It's also cool because that means 30 more characters for War Machine.
Exactly, yeah, they're sweet War Machine Hordes models too.
Well, that's the cool part about this is you're getting a double dip.
Yep.
Honestly.
All right, so I am going to. Have I damaged any of your guys? Like your Eris is
The only one that has damage is Desmond.
dead. Okay, and she needs 1 more to get taken out, right?
Correct.
All right, and what have I got for? So you've got the bomb picked up. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So you can potentially get to there. I'm gonna try and kill you. Okay. That's, all right, we're gonna go. I'm gonna go and I'm going to put the what is it? The Shard of Wrathrock. So I'm gonna pay 4 to put that on Mr. Dreyfus. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right. So Mr. Dreyfus is going to move. So I'm going to spend 1. He's going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. And he is, what have you got? 3 dice left.
Yep.
So I'm going to spend 1 to attack. So Dreyfus gets 4 blue dice, plus his flank. So you go down to a 2, 5, plus this hero gains 1 power dice in its melee attacks. Plus, I have the charge ability and the fighter class in addition to its original class. So when this model spends an action die to run, it gains 1 power die to its melee attacks during its activation. So I'm going to be rolling 4 blues, 2 power dice, and 1 white dice.
This is not going to be good.
Now, if I can't kill you because you haven't been hurt yet, so I can only do 2. All right. Okay, let's see if I can hit this. So I'm looking for a 2, 5.
They're going to be good. You're wearing out.
So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I did 2 damage to you.
All right, so we got 2 on Dreyfus.
All right, and so he's gonna go. That's gonna go here. Anything else I want to do? Yeah, he's there, so he kind of plays blocker a little bit. All right, I think I'm happy with that. Over to you, sir.
Crap.
And we're still at same. We're still at 5 to 3.
Yep. Is there anything here that can help me right now?
Well, you already used up 1 guy. He's rolling a chance to get to the.
Yeah. The only thing is if I had the Bam Fist, I could wipe those dice right now.
Table flip.
Yeah. Yeah.
Can't put this.
That's the thing, there's going to be lots of different synergies and stuff once more models come out. There's lots of, like, Boom Howler is really cool. Boom Howler has a Gatling gun, so you have multiple attacks.
Boomhauer, all I hear is, I'll tell you what. How to say it. Oh, God.
Well, he is a descendant of Bragg.
Alright, so.
The other thing you can do is if you take one of my guys out, that's a scrap card, right? So
Yeah. So what I'm gonna do is use too many explosives.
okay.
I'm gonna try and take out your Eris.
Okay, sounds good.
Alright, so I can use, because I don't have anything in range to move to support. To be honest, it's gonna be a luck of the dice thing.
Mm-hmm.
Don't blow
So
Thanks for the support.
yes, yes.
Alright,
So
so I'm
much to load. It's all the explosives.
exactly. Alright, so I'm
Oh my.
gonna be just, and I have no treasure to buy.
So now you will hit yourself where you are. So you might want to, depending on what you want to do, you can risk it,
Or you can tell one guy and get your attack.
or you can spend one dice to step away and then throw.
Can I just throw it there?
And War Machine, you can throw another model holding for scatter.
Had to ask.
Yep.
You know what? I'm gonna spend one
Okay.
to move. I'm gonna move because you know what? Let's do something stupid.
Okay. I like it.
All right. So because if I move one here, it's still
Mhm.
2,
Mhm.
1, 2, and I'm gonna go 3. 'Cause
Okay.
that's the 1, 2, 3 out
Yep.
of range,
Mhm.
and then we're gonna roll dice.
Okay, sounds good.
All right. That is a 4, I believe.
All right. And you're shooting at Eris?
Yep.
Oh, how many? Are you within 2 of me? You might
Oh.
want to bump yourself up a little bit.
Oh, right. You got that
There
cloak thing
Yeah.
on.
So I am a 5/6. Did you hit a 5?
No, I hit a 4.
Okay. So you miss. I don't have anything fancy if you miss me, but luckily you missed me.
All right, your turn.
All right. So you got 1 dice left. You need to put your other dice on Govern.
Oh, right.
There you go.
I swear, I'm not trying to cheat.
No worries. Dreyfus has 1 point left.
Yep.
That's
All
okay.
right.
People have been trying to blow Eris up for years.
All right. Yes. Corey does it every game. He always kills my errors.
I just went for throwing her over the Mountain King. This was
Yes,
fun.
that also happens. Yes, charge the Mountain King with Eris. It works every time. So we're still at 3-5, right?
Yep.
Okay, so I'm going to. Oh, I can't activate Dreyfus. That's right.
Because otherwise I would have ran.
Mm-hmm.
That was the only reason I pretty much abandoned Dreyfus and
Yep.
said it's a dice roll game now.
Yeah, I got 1 dice left. Dreyfus has 1 health.
You better get that first roll.
Pretty much, or good luck with.
Oh yeah, I can't even get. Yeah, I have to. So I can't even get Dreyfus at all because I have to. I don't have anybody near enough.
Nope.
So I have 1 dice. So I can shoot your Gubbin.
Yes, you can.
I have a range of 3. You don't have anything special. Anybody else close enough? And Dez is only a range 3. Okay, we're gonna have to go with because I'm not next to anything. All right, we're gonna go with Eris, and she is going to shoot at your Gubbin. So I'm gonna roll this one.
Good.
I get for Eris, I get 3 of these, and I have Spotter, so it drops your defense by 1. So you are going to be a 4/5. The odds are not great. I miss you.
All right.
Now look at your Gubbin. Does he have anything fancy if I miss him?
Sidestep.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So 1, 2, 3.
Okay, sounds good. All right, and that is over to you.
All right.
I
I've
don't have
got
anything new to put on the board, so we're good.
and I can't do that much either, to be honest.
All right, you can.
I can't use either of the guys I want to,
Right.
and my Eris isn't cooler, so the only one I can actually use is. I'm going to play 1 dice on Dez, and
Okay. Move her somewhere.
pretty much.
Okay.
4. 2, 3, 4, I guess.
Okay, sounds good.
All right.
All right, so we're done.
Yeah.
So you go ahead and roll 1 dice. right, so Eris comes out.
Okay, and then it goes back in my.
She goes into your bench so that you can spawn the game.
Okay.
All right, so all these go back to our dice well.
All right, so question:
Mm-hmm.
if I had missed, would I still been able to spawn Damfist onto the board?
If you had.
So like.
Yes, because she's just not available. So
Oh, okay.
you always have to have the goal is that you always want to have 4 on the board. So she would just not be available, but so you would bring in Damfist.
Okay, that was my.
Yep. All right, so we go ahead and we roll for priority.
All right.
Nothing new to put on the board.
Do I have to spawn?
Priority happens first.
Okay.
All right, I have a 5.
I have a 6.
Nice. Okay, so
The
you're
2 right there.
So you are going first. So you can pick which of your heroes you're going to spawn, and then you roll your d6.
I'm gonna try Damfist just
Okay,
for
sounds
the.
good. Well, he's also got a puzzle chest over here, right?
Oh, I was just.
6. All right, so it's coming out on the 6, and anywhere adjacent.
All right, we're gonna call that good.
Okay, sounds good. I have no characters to spawn, so I'm good. And I didn't. Yeah, so I didn't have to. I didn't evacuate or anything, so we're good there. Okay.
So it's my turn.
Yes. So you'll be going first.
So I'm going to activate Sir Dreyfus.
Okay.
His first move is going to be his jump because I can jump right over
That's
top.
right. You got it.
So
So 1, 2.
2.
Yeah.
I'm going to spend the second dice to do his speed.
Yeah.
So 1, 2, 3,
Yeah.
and
And
then
you spend 1 to do the bombing run.
okay.
Now you get the bonus to this if you are undamaged, which you're not, but you're going for it. So
Yep.
You're looking for a 3.
So I get 3 blue
Yep,
and
3 blue.
1 white.
No way.
No bonus.
Nope.
No, it goes on your character. Like,
Okay. So
Yeah. So you spend the 1 white on there. There you go. Looking for a 3.
Oh.
You got the 4.
Yeah.
Nice. And that puts you to that one's worth 2,
Yep. That puts me to the 7.
and that wins you the game, sir.
Good game.
Nicely done.
Yes. Nicely done. Holy cow! This is a good little game.
Once you know the rules and stuff, it's like bang bang bang. Once you're familiar with what your characters do and the Riot Gear, it's pretty quick. So
Thanks to Privateer Press for supplying us with these wonderful
yes,
toys.
yeah, the mat is really nice, guys. So it's the same mat that comes in the starter box, but that one, of course, is paper. So the neoprene mat's really nice. I really like all the tokens and stuff. They're all double-sided. They're nice quality. And you get everything you need to get started in the box. So the box is all wet, but
Dave got no.
It's that good of a game.
Dave got excited.
so here's the box. So check it out at your local stores. Again, it's got everything that you need. It's got 5 characters. They are all War Machine and Hordes models, so they will have solo rules for War Machine and Hordes as well. So that's a double value if you already play War Machine and Hordes. Really great little game though. It's fast. It gets more and more interesting as you get other characters. So there's currently the 5 in the box. James has been released already to general production. I believe there's 5 others that were pre-released at Gen Con. A couple of them I think are coming out in September. So there are 11 characters now. They're going to be 30 by lock and load next year. So lots of really cool stuff that you can switch up. And each character, when you buy, the base will come in a blister like you would buy a normal War Machine Hordes model, and they will come with their own Riot Gear card as well. So if you go online and check out the Privateer Press DeathClock, they went through and did a little blurb on all of the characters that have been released, what they do, what their abilities are and stuff. And it also shows the Riot Gear that they come with, which is really handy. So.
And about how much Canadian is started off?
I believe it's 50-ish. I don't know exactly what it is, but it's right around that. So it's a pretty good entry, and comes again with everything you need to jump in and get started. And then it just switches up even more and more as you add other models to your crew, because you bring up to 10. So you can bring all fighters if you wanted to, if they ever had 10 fighters or whatever. It's in your best interest to bring a mix. Because again, you've got stuff that interacts better with the different classes, so it gives you more flexibility. But things really switch up once you get the extra Riot Gear too. Like there's like a fancy potion or something that you can he drinks it and disappears and gets replaced with a guy on your bench, and all different crazy stuff like that. And Privateer Press is also going to be releasing models just for aesthetics, but for the spawn gates, there's a cool spawn gate model. And then I believe there's also like treasure chests and stuff that are coming as well, just to kind of add a little bit of flavor to the table. And of course there'll be other maps coming as well. Like I think the next one that's coming out is it's 2 pirate ships that are passing. So it's like pirate ship, and there's a couple of like gangplanks. So there's there's like choke points and stuff.
Nice.
Another one I think that they were kind of talking about, I think it's just a rumor that's going around right now, but is you're fighting like in or around the corpse of a giant dragon that was after the apocalypse and stuff. So it's might be like bones if you're kind of in and out of that. So lots of cool stuff. The maps are really pretty.
It's a very simple game. You
Easy
guys
to
just
learn.
watched my first game ever.
And once you've got the rules down and stuff, it's about 20 to 30 minutes for a 2-player game. I think about 45-ish for up to 4 players. Yeah, check out the staff showdown on Privateer Press because the 4-player is just crazy because you have 4 characters each all over the board, and a big thing with multiplayer games is that there's kill stealing. So I did all this work to get Sir Dreyfus down to 1, and then somebody else snipes him and gets that point. So you have to be really, really careful about where you're applying the damage because you're potentially helping your opponents. So, but easy to learn. So it's a great game also for non-tabletop players. Of course, the models come unpainted, so you assemble just like your War Machine model. The ones in the starter kit are all metal models, but they went together pretty easily. There's really nice like pin and grooves and stuff. So there was everything was pretty straightforward, even with errors. I didn't pin anything, so nothing's fallen apart yet. So we're good. But yeah, really neat game. I think it'll be a fun secondary one that a lot of like War Machine and Hordes players and other players just have along with them because you need you throw your mat and you're in with your stuff and you got your deck of cards and you got your models with you anyway. So pretty easy to carry them on as well. But really neat game. I highly recommend you guys check it out. I don't know if we're going to be having another game or not. Pat, are you hanging around?
Sure.
Or you want to try one? Cool. So we'll have another game after this. So probably I'll leave the stream going and then you guys can just hear us chat and stuff, and that way we don't have to keep everybody out of the lobby and go from there. So we'll get things reset. So just bear with us for a few minutes as we get reset. Let's just see. We've got one watch. You know what? I'm going to stop it, and that way it'll show us 2 different videos on YouTube. So bear with us. I'll just let you guys know.
But congrats, you never lost a game with this.
Yes.
We'll see how long that lasts.
Yep. And it's funny too because people are like posting online. They taught their kids how to play and stuff, and their kids are like beating their parents in their first game and stuff because it's just there's the randomness of where stuff pops up too, right? Like if it's if this pops up by your Balthazar, you're like, okay, I guess I get that or whatever. So
Well, another piece to it is it's just like each character only has like 2 or 3 health. That's
yeah, exactly.
not a whole lot of health to
Yeah.
be honest, strategy wise.
Yeah. Oh, and if you get a super damage in somewhere too, then that's two damage knocked off right there, anyways.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But no, it's
Yeah, really neat game. Thank you guys for watching. So we're going to cut it there, and we'll be back shortly after we've set up for the next game. So we'll be into that one a little faster because we won't have to go through all the character cards. We'll just kind of give Pat the lowdown a little bit on what the cards do, and we will be back in just a few minutes. So if you're enjoying the content we're creating, be sure to hit like on that video and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any content. Also, make sure you check out AttackX. So attackx.com. So it's attack-x.com. Here in Kamloops, BC, coming up in the next couple of weeks. That's September 13th, 14th, and 15th. So we will hopefully see you guys there. All right, we'll see you soon.